Dadya. So now let's talk about the genders of the zodiac signs. So here are the 12 divisions of the zodiac. We know that the Sun and the Moon take possession of the 5th and the 4th divisions of Leo and Cancer. And since the Sun and Moon are the male and female archetypes, it's easy to accept the idea that these two divisions are male and female. And so now we can just repeat this pattern around the zodiac and get an accurate description of which signs are male and which are female. And this also, lines perfectly up with the idea that every planet has a male and a female sign, right? Mercury rules the male sign of Gemini and the female sign of Virgo. Venus rules the female sign of Taurus and the male sign of Libra. Mars rules the male sign of Aries and the female sign of Scorpio. Jupiter rules the female sign of Pisces and the male sign of Sagittarius, and Saturn rules the male sign of Aquarius and the female sign of Capricorn. There's another way though to determine the gender, and that is through the element of the sign. The gender of the sign is also part of the element of the sign. So here you can see the zodiac signs and the elements, right? As you can see, some of them are fire, some are water, some are air, and some are earth. Fire is a very masculine element and water is very feminine. Air is somewhat masculine and earth is somewhat feminine. So when we lay it out like this, now we begin to see a new way of how we can actually look at the gender spectrum of the zodiac. But if you look closely, it looks like Scorpio and Cancer are both equally feminine. And I'm sure you're aware that the femininity of Scorpio is quite different from the femininity of Cancer. In fact, none of the two signs are really much alike. And so what could be the reason for this? Well, the reason is that the gender interacts with those two other important factors, which are the modality and the planetary ruler. So I will give a brief introduction into how you can put these factors together. And later actually we'll talk about this in more depth. The three modalities, cardinal, fixed, and dual, are going to specify how exactly those male and female signs function. Right? The cardinal modality is bold and initiative. The fixed modality is patient and enduring. And the dual modality tries to balance both the cardinal and fixed energies. That already gives some major difference between Cancer, which is a water sign, and cardinal, and therefore is always making this effort to adapt and change to a situation to fulfill its needs and be loved. And Scorpio, which is a water sign and fixed, and therefore strives to create a situation that provides for long-term emotional stability. Now we also need to consider the planetary ruler of the sign. In our example, Cancer is ruled by the Moon and Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So here we can find another major distinction between Cancer and Scorpio. Right? Cancer is ruled by the Moon, and that shows that acceptance and love is what Cancer is ultimately looking for. And it does so with cardinal energy and through the water element. And this is how Cancer is feminine. And Scorpio is ruled by Mars. And that shows that Scorpio wants to be powerful and independent. And it does so with fixed energy and through the water element. And this is how Scorpio is feminine.